I was a kid, my mom tried to make the downstairs basement a play area for my brother and I, like a whole play thing, like the couches, the home entertainment center, video game systems. I think it was Sega Genesis, the whole deal, right?
Mhm.
And books. We didn't read those fucking books, but all that stuff. But there's also the back room area with the dryer, this creepy closet, and all this other stuff. And we never went down there ever, except to go and get stuff from the double fridges my mom had because she raised 2 kids by herself. So there's like bacon from 7 years ago we'd have to go get occasionally. And I would run down those stairs and sometimes just scream like, I'm here. Fuck off. And then I'd run to the back, go to the bacon area, grab the bacon, brown sugar Galtney, like the Virginia brown sugar, something like that, or whatever, brown sugar Galtney bacon, and run up the stairs. I swear to God, I felt this energy like, we're going to get you. And I don't think it was fake. I really think there's like, not necessarily that like it's evil, like my perception of it was evil, but it wasn't actually evil. It was something I just didn't understand, like some relationship to the other side. And I think like, like all the movies I would watch when I was a kid, like I got to see, because my mom was, single mom, and so like she didn't pay attention to me watching like I don't know, like Outer Limits and like Real Sex Live, which is just really ugly old people like having sex. It's just the worst show, like for anyone. I don't think anyone should watch it. It's a horrible, like watching Leprechaun and watching Hellraiser is not as bad as Real Sex Live. Those are really like fucked with my head. Like this is really unattractive people like get into like orgies.
You know what I think it was? I think it was really like your old white, vile pedophilia neighbors in your ritzy neighborhood. And they were sneaking into
You saying I
your
have
house.
repressed or like
yeah.
and like
I think something
I've
happened.
exchanged the leprechaun from the movie for my neighbor who was like might have just been really Irish or obsessed with Irish shit, like really into the Boston Celtics, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy who raped me. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying exactly.
It was a rich neighborhood. It could happen anywhere, I guess, right?
I do think it fits my whole theory that the grossest men out there are old white men, aging white men.
Do you think there's like a black kid from like Mississippi that had to deal with the Ku Klux Klan when he was a kid, and he's just like now really into angels because they're like dressed in white? Do you think it's something like that?
Like if he's old and his
he's like
dementia
it's a repressed
now?
memory from like horrific racial tension and like Mississippi burning or something. So now he's like really into like, I don't know, like the priesthood. And now he was actually raped again because he went to the priesthood and they raped him when he was an altar boy. And it's like, this kid just keeps getting it from both ends, no pun intended.
I don't think everybody channels trauma the way that you do, Ben.
No, I don't think I weird things have happened to me though. Like that thing, like the voices, like little kids hear fucking voices. Mm-hmm. Like no one talks about that. Like that's like weird. And they're like, oh, you grow out of it.
I didn't know that existed though.
Yeah, it's very common for little kids to be schizophrenic, and then it stops. And then if it happens when you're 20, like in college, that means you're schizophrenic. But like it's very normal. And the scientific evidence as to why this happens is we don't know.
Someone should write a show where they're actually getting like they're picking up like a radio frequency from like other dimensions, and that's really what schizophrenia is.
Is
there a show like that?
It's like a Shirley MacLaine thing, talking about how she knows her past life from Atlantis, and except you're a little kid, so no one takes you seriously. Like when my mom's I think I've talked about this in the show in the past. Like my nanny died the same night my mom woke up to a phone call. And I was standing at the foot of her bed, and she was on the call, and she saw me there, and she answered the phone. I was like, "Hi, mommy." Didn't say anything else, and then on the phone call she got, it was my nanny died. She says she thinks the nanny came to see me before she went off to like the ethereal plane or whatever the fuck it is. And
she was probably like, "Pick up your fucking room."
Yeah, maybe. I had another one where all these hands came out from underneath my bed and grabbed me, and then I didn't let them, and then like it went away when my mom opened the door. Like it wasn't like from like a dream.
By the way, I wasn't being racist before. Ben has told me that his nanny was Hispanic. Just wanted to clarify that. That was not an accident.
You probably are racist because my nanny was black. So you're just wrong. So I don't know.
You told me, Maria.
No. This is a different nanny.
Okay.
This is the first nanny. So the first nanny stole spoons and silverware. That was fired. That was the live-in. The second nanny might have also been live-in. She didn't steal. And then Maria was never live-in. She was just kind of like, we're kind of tired of all the black people stealing, so we just stopped letting them stay in our house. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know, man. What's the deal with your pot smoking like drug dealer friend that
Yes.
like he's like a drug
Like-
lord of like pot in Texas, and he says that he has Asperger's or autism, or sorry, he doesn't say Asperger's. That's an offensive term. What's the term he uses?
Yeah, and this is news to me, who has been involved in this field.
What does he call Aspies?
He had to tell me again tonight. I went to go visit him.
Deviant what is it
It's
called?
a fucking-
Deviant behavior, like eunuch. What are they called?
It's something. We'll look it up because
It's
even
more
now he told me
complicated.
2 hours ago and I can't remember.
He's like a PC. He has like a what was it, unicorn, like My Little Pony, like rainbow hair, and
Yeah,
he's really effeminate and like very like weird and aspy. But he loves to like correct you about like definitions and prolong like descriptions of things that are basic. Like, oh, that's an apple. He's like, actually, that's a Jerusalus tulipesius genus, also known as a Grandma Utzi bar. I'm like, what the fuck? It's just an apple, dude. But yeah, he's talked about how he doesn't do drugs except pot because he says it helps slow him down. But he's like, it helps slow me down just enough so I feel normal. And I'm like,
He's
that's
got that
not normal,
molasses
man.
mouth.
It's too. He doesn't record yourself. I just feel like everyone else. Like he's like one of the. He's
Swimming
like
in
an
a
idiot
river of
savant idiot who thinks that he's like Will Hunting, and then he's not. He's just like normal. So he smokes all this pot. He's like, oh. I'll play you in chess, but let me smoke a lot of pot first so I don't beat you. And then he basically just blames everything on the pot. He's really just dumb and average, and he smokes pot, and he's retarded, and he's like, that's
on.
because I care about your feelings. I wanted you to feel like you were on par with me, so I lost. I don't know. I don't know.
Don't insult my little pony man.
Yeah,
my
dude.
little Fran.
That guy. You see, if pot becomes legal in Texas, he's gonna have to have like shit that people like to keep his market, like space ice cream, like dried ice cream, like flavored pot, or some like
He'll sell it to
cheeseburgers that are
Elon
like
Musk.
THC cheeseburgers, and people love his, and so they don't care. They just buy his anyway, like because it's gonna be saturated with it.
I think he's thought of some things to do.
He
I
doesn't
never
look
really
like a drug
get.
lord either. He looks like he lives in his mother's basement, and his apartment is very like not impressive.
Have you ever? Okay, that's because pot drug lords are way different than like real.
No. I
arguing
I
about.
told you about the story of the guys when I was renting a place in Baltimore, Maryland for like a month. I was in a carriage house in a nice area of Baltimore, but also not. It's like the areas of Baltimore that are not nice are in the ghetto too. So like, or are nice. So it's just like there's drug deals going on just around the corner from like a really nice townhouse. So I was by like where the slaughterhouse. I was Lafayette Park, and the people that lived in the carriage house before me had just been raided by the FBI. They were pot lords. They had $850,000 in cash in the walls. I was living. I get to rent this place for a month. I saw where the cops ripped it out of the walls. Unbelievable. I never thought anyone could actually make $850,000 from daps and like vape pens. Like I was shocked.
It's dabs.
Oh, whatever it is. I was shocked. I've smoked it. Someone gave it to me once. I
can't imagine.
I had a bad
you.
trip in Vegas, and it felt like I was about to get on a bad, I was going to experience it again. Like I was on the brink of tripping, and it never happened. I'm like, this is.
I have a theory that it's something. I mean, I feel the same way. We're both come from Irish, mother's side for me, mother's side for you. But I have a theory, along with other things that have happened, that weed does not agree with me because of this Irish neurotic. we're just not a very weed smoking people. We're too neurotic for it.
That's the whole purpose of smoke weed is to like help. Like,
No, but
I don't know
alcohol is
anyone
more
that's
than-
neurotic that smokes weed and is still more neurotic. I've always heard that people that aren't neurotic become neurotic on weed, and then people that aren't neurotic helps like balance them out. I don't know.
I am very neurotic.
I just
when
don't think
smoke
it's like a
weed.
very enterprising drug. It seems like I guess weed dealers smoke weed recreationally, and then you get the like false impression. But I don't know. I guess heroin dealers don't just like shoot up heroin because then they would just like it just wouldn't work out. But yeah, it was impressive. It was impressive.
Well, I mean, 800. I mean, that's quite a lot. I think you can find people who really.
They also came in
Take it
hot. They came in
seriously.
hot. Like they called the landlord my friend, and they didn't want to have anything to do with it because she like likes these kids, and like they were like tactical geared. Multiple entrances came in from the main front of their townhouse to the back, and the guys came in through the garage. It's like 8 or 10 guys, like $20,000 worth of damage they did allegedly. I mean, I hope she pumped that up. Good for her. Get that insurance money. But like the cops just like. Yeah, I mean, like, don't you have stuff like better to do in Baltimore than get some pot dealer? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
weren't there like cops actually like? There was a whole FBI case or something like a year ago about cops that were running drug task forces in Baltimore that were actually threatening drug dealers and like demanding that they get like a piece of the action. There's like way more serious stuff going on in Baltimore than like. Oh, you sold a dime bag or whatever. Like,
it's really the most like harmful drug. It shouldn't be illegal. Even though I don't smoke, I fully
feel
support
like I've seen like
my
someone
friend's
like
stance.
I swear I could easily see in Baltimore someone shooting someone and then like having sex with the corpse, and that would be more normal than like what like arresting a pot dealer.
Yeah. It's silly and it's such an absurd thing because it is just like it's a plant. And who have you ever met who has become like violent after smoking weed? Like I tend to really go for guys who smoke weed romantically
cocaine's
because
a plant. Heroin's a plant. Let's not get confused here. They're all plants.
Yeah, but it's like the least harmful for yourself and for others.
I think that's subjective. I will say I would say pot possibly. Like if alcohol is legal, then pot should be legal, in my opinion. But
alcohol is
whatever.
way more harmful.
I will say that if you're 16 or 15, your frontal lobe brain cells have not developed, I would not advise like smoking pot. Because I don't think that's a good idea. So it should be for adults. And because your frontal lobe has now been, shrunk because of all your pot smoking when you were younger, you don't know, like this great thing about being dumb, you don't know that you're dumb.
You mean ignorance is bliss, yeah.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, you were exposed to lead gasoline, like you don't know though, so it's okay.
It's like me telling you that the dog can live without Bubby can live without a dog park.
It's like telling a retarded kid that like they're retarded and like them like saying what like, or you can't say that word anymore, and they're like, well, what do you mean? And like, well, it's just offensive. He's like, but that's what I am. It's just like,
See, my
Louis
analogy
CK.
was way cuter. It was about Bubby.
Let's start the show.
Yeah.
Let's start the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Deplorables with Attitude. I'm your host, Ben. We're here live, obviously, with the fabulous Sarah, who is
right, you were right on that line of saying it for a second.
No, I didn't. I was like, I want to incorporate like fat snacks and something, but I don't have any good fat snack stories, other than the fact that we talked about how making I said that vanilla bean ice cream with Oreos like added is way better than cookies and cream. It's so easy to do. You can make the best cookies and cream you'll ever have is homemade, and it doesn't involve like fucking like making ice cream from like just buy vanilla bean ice cream and stuff some fucking Oreos in there and mix it up. You're good. It's the best you'll ever have. It is. Yeah. It just is. And Oreo ice cream, generally speaking, cookies and cream does not give you the stuffing, the cream in the middle. So you just get the cookie part because they're trying to save money. So you get that. You get the icing with your ice cream, makes it extra creamy.
I like this. This I can like remember attached to You talk to me about stocks, and I'm like, whoop, 3x plus 6.
Sean Penn has invited President Zelensky and the Azov battalion of neo-Nazis to speak at this Sunday's Oscars. What do you think about that, Sarah? I'm excited.
Who is this?
So the Azov battalion are a group of neo-Nazis that are ultra-Ukrainian nationalists that are anti-Putin, obviously. They were in the Donbass region harassing a lot of gay Russians and other pro-Russian people. And, they are very much against Putin. And so even though they're Nazis, they're going to be invited to stream via Zoom on the show because they're not Putin, and
What?
Putin's bad. Putin's like Trump. So
What source is calling them Nazis?
they're Nazis. They literally have like swastikas and they call like one of their they use the SS Panzer like logo from the Third Reich. They're Nazis for sure. But Hollywood and the Jews in Hollywood feel like, well, you know what? Midterm elections are coming up. Trump's running 2024. We got to do something. And Putin is so like attached to Trump that long run it just makes sense to go pro Nazi now. In a sense, to then stop the real Nazi, who is Putin and Trump. Like let's ban with these Nazis because they hate those Nazis. Because somehow Trump is a fascist and a Putin acolyte, even though Putin hates Nazis and refers to, World War II over and over again about how much he hates. And that's a very common thing for Russians to do, or talk about like how much Nazis are evil and blah blah blah. But that besides the history of it, the key is that these Nazis are against Trump probably because they're against Putin, and so they're good Nazis versus Trump, who's a bad Nazi. And so the Jews in Hollywood are like, let's get on this bandwagon. And I think that they're right. I think that they're right because they're playing the long game. See, they're not thinking about this war. They're thinking about 2024. They're thinking about we can't let Trump win again. And that other Nazi in Florida, Ron DeSantis, that Hispanic Nazi, they can't let him into the game either. Because Hispanic Nazis just cause all sorts of problems. They like different types of salsa, and like they're really into like mariachi bands, and it's gonna get too loud.
Wow. Yeah.
And they won't wear their fucking mask. DeSantis is not a mask man.
That's I'm not even sure what to say. I think that's horrible.
I know. I'm shocked that the Jews love this Nazi group and they love Zelensky, who's like a pro Azov battalion Jew. But it's a complicated mix of like, foreign diplomacy that we don't necessarily have to understand. We just have to, I don't know, like put up with it and just learn about it and understand it later.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose. So when is this? When is the dinner happening?
It's the Oscars Sunday.
Oscars.
Sunday.
Okay. Huh. Well,
Are you gonna tune in to the Oscars? You know, watch Timothy Chalamet. What is his name?
Charmin.
Timothy Charmin. Charlemagne. What's his name?
Do you remember? There was one time Ben was trying to recall Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, what I call him?
You're like
Jordan Gordon-Levitt.
Jordan Gordon-Levitt. And
yeah,
you were
that's his brother. They look exactly the same.
Oh, it was the funniest thing ever. No, Timothy.
But Jordan Gordon-Levitt's like a normal person. He's not a movie star. He's a mailman.
Yeah.
He had an extra role in Inception. That's about it.
You said it with such conviction.
They were not
and
friends when he was on 30 Rock or Third Rock from the Sun. They had a heated battle because Joseph became an actor and Jordan wanted to be an actor, and they didn't talk for years. And I think with Joseph's connections, he got his brother, who was homeless at one point in time, Jordan, a job at the post office, and now he sorts mail for a living. So that's better, I guess. I feel like if you're like nepotism wise, if you're a movie star, you could have gotten your brother who's homeless a better job than like working at the post office. Also, I'm not sure that would be like contributing to someone's dream. I'm sure that his dream was not to sort mail. It could be, and nothing against the post office, but I feel like my brother's the head of like MGM, and he got me this job at like, I don't know, a Mazda car dealership, like washing cars. Like that's just like, it just doesn't seem like, that sucks. Like I once was at, speaking of car dealerships, I was at a BMW dealership on Okeechobee in Florida, and guess who was there? Someone Tarantino or whatever. It was Tarantino. Not only the Tarantino family looked like Quentin, not the best lookers. So they have these distinguishing like Jay Leno chins and all this like very like, yeah, I mean like very like that's what they're like. So I was like, you just kind of look like like a troll, but also Tarantino-ish. He's like, yeah, that's my uncle. I'm like, that's amazing. Yeah. And that makes sense. Your uncle, estranged family, blah, blah, blah. One guy gets rich in the family. That's the way it is. Just law of probability. You can't just dish it out to everyone. What do you are you in like movies? It's like, no, I just want like a big sweaty wad of money like for my birthday, like once a year. That so it's like that. So, but your brother who's homeless,
show me what fetishes
Joseph
you
Gordon-Levitt, get your brother like a job, like, I don't know, make him a key grip on your movie. Try to get him into something, like get him a writing position as a student. I don't know. Do something more than a mailman. Like that even seems like a breach of like the private and public sector. Is your brother's a mailman now? It's like, what kind of secrets does he know about the Illuminati that he's not telling us? It's just like he should not know things about your sex parties and like your cocaine problem and like your weird, I don't know, like obsession with Zoe Deschanel. Like he knows too much, and he should not be handling public mail. So you should really keep him in the back room and give him some drugs and let him enjoy his life. Pay for his 2-bedroom apartment off of La Cienega. Not like force him into like manual labor at a fucking post office and just like, hey bro, this is better than heroin. Like, could have done better.
Yeah. Well.
So imagine if you covered the song Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday for a Welch's juice box commercial for kids. You didn't know what the song was referencing. You just liked it. This would be good for this commercial. Welch's grape juice. Kids. Yeah, they love it. like Visa licensing Grimes' song Oblivion for a family commercial, when in fact the song was written by Grimes referencing a rape at night by a stranger when walking home. But it's catchy. It's catchy, like Lola from the Kinks. Homophobic frat boys all over the United States are completely unaware that's about a transsexual.
Yeah.
They're completely unaware. I was part of the group. I was like, I don't know what this song is. I don't know anything about good music. I just know I like it. The Cure, Kinks, yada, 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 Who. And like, Lola. I was like, we're not trolling for dick. We're not trolling for dick. But we didn't know. It was just good. Song lyrics. People just, this is a good song. I mean, who cares? Who cares?
I wonder where that caught on. Like, where was the first frat? Maybe it's just some tranny who fucked with them all. Like, yeah, this song's really great. And they were all trying to fuck her without knowing that she was a tranny.
The song lyrics are so obvious. Like, she looks like a man. How's like, she walks in the tunnel and then she looks like a man. She tucks it back and it looks all right. But Lola, Lola, la 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 Lola. She's got a 9-inch dick. I guess it's not so clear. Is that part of it? No, it's so Pusha T now. Pusha T did the ba da ba 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 for McDonald's thing. He wrote that, which is a weird thing for like a hardcore like a rap like hard rapper to like. He's like, all right, can you just like write anything? Like maybe he wrote one of Adele's songs. I used to call her Adelaide before I ever heard someone say her name. Like maybe
you're botching of certain things.
Maybe he like I used to think that Third Eye Blind sounded like British,
Yeah.
Like, because when I'm with you, I feel like I could die, and that would be all right. I'm like, that sounds just like they're British, right? Or like
I
Dave
think you just
Dave Matthews. Oh, the way you fuck, the way you roll, lost for you, I'm so lost.
I think you have this thing where you take everything into your own fantasy, and part of that is like making things a little fancier and a little more like.
So Pusha T is dissing McDonald's for not paying him for ba-da-ba-ba-ba. He also dishes their fillet of fish. Here's the song. And we'll talk about it in a second.
I'm the reason the whole world love it. Now I gotta crush it. Fillet your fishes. Then you should be disgusted. How dare you sell a square fish asking us to trust it? A half slice of cheese, Mickey D's on a budget. Arby's crispy fish is simply it. With lines round the corner, we might need a guest list. Eggs is stage left, the sandwiches taste fresh. A little cube of fish from a clown is basic. Say less, this argument is baseless. Drowned in tartar, that filet o fish is tasteless. See, Arby's only deals in the greatness. I bet the house on it like it's Vegas. Look, I could sell water to a well. How could you ever think I'd fail? Yeah, the crispy fish sandwich blazing trails. Them other clowns just too frail. Yeah, if you know me and you know me well, all fish is gonna tip that scale.
Tip that scale. Tip that scale. It's a cocaine reference on a family like sandwich commercial for Arby's. Like middle America Westerners, like I love Arby's. I love roast beef. It's so good. Oh, like first of all, Arby's is like the last choice. Jack in the Box, Sonic, anything but Arby's in my head. But because Arby's is like a Tex. It's just like also have you been to Arby's like back in the day? Like for most of its existence, it was the grimiest place to go into. It's like this is just like most fast food restaurants are not ideal to stay in. It was like a public restroom stop that had not been serviced for 25
like
years, and the ghosts that I'm afraid of from my childhood are in the bathroom just shitting on everything and be like, we're extra scary now. It's fucking
For
awful.
me, I was just laughing with a friend thinking about how Pizza Hut, like I remember going to birthday parties.
Can we
at
stay on
Pizza
topic? Why the fuck is this song allowed on
Are
TV?
you kidding me?
It's about
Can
cocaine.
I finish my Pizza Hut birthday party?
It's not after you talk about the thing that was
you
just
were
referenced.
talking about Arby's.
That's what the song's about. He wrote it for Arby's.
I know, but I'm saying the decline of the Pizza Hut indoors. It used to be so clean.
Yeah.
And then it really went downhill.
My friend who's a
segue.
multi-millionaire who has multiple shots, multiple silver bullets in the chamber to kill herself as if she was a fucking werewolf. Like she'd be like she's literally like she has so many that she is like a fake silver bullet. She has like a Jewish jeweler fucked her over and thought she got like a silver bullet, but it was just like cast in silver and really it's just like wood. So that one didn't work. She's this like shitty werewolf that's really depressed that they haven't died and they hate like that they eat all their friends. I don't know. This is a horrible analogy. And just keep shooting. So basically, she's had millions of dollars to like create businesses and like fail. I dare say that like the amount of money she's like wasted on bad ideas could be the like gross domestic product of like Guam. It's bad. Like her family used to own part of the Washington Wizards. That was too much. I should have said like the Seattle Supersonics, but they don't exist. I'm just a little tired because it's like a little later tonight, and you were late coming back to do this fucking show. So I'm a little bit tired. I've been doing a lot today. I've been working really hard. Got a lot going on. I have this interview for this thing on Monday in a different state, so there's a lot of shit going on for me. But I maintain. I fight through it because this is what it's about. It's about you guys that I don't see right now. But like if I was staring at the camera, at least I could look at my face and I'd be like, you're like, I'm like one of you and we're one and we're it. But now I'm just staring off into space right now because Sarah's like turned sideways and it's hard to face her because she can't sit up. She's such a fucking sloucher. Slouch more. So she's like in her chair like, what?
I have a big laissez-faire.
What was I saying? What was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying.
Push your T.
No, I know that. Push your T. But what was I on? What was I on about?
Yeah, talking about a 2-second Pizza Hut thing, and you go into like my friend.
The girl. She wanted to bring back Pizza Hut, like the whole model of going to get like fast casual pizza and sitting down which
Yeah,
is like
that's-
no
those
one.
days are
It was phased
gone.
out because people could get rid of their kids for 5 or 10 minutes, order a pizza, say, "Here, kids, enjoy," and that's it. Now she's like, you know what would be great? If the family ate together their shit pizza at a restaurant. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like,
Yeah.
the whole idea is that pizza technology has gotten to a point where you can get like fast, good, decent pizza. Like, you can pick it up, you can order it, and everything's like the whole thing is about delivery. The delivery technology is where the money's been going in R&D research, not like, oh, let's see if we can make like better pizza for a restaurant. By the way, there are pizza restaurants where people don't even order pizza, and you want to bring back shitty pizza and to like a place that's like an Arby's setting but slightly better, like a TGI Fridays or a Applebee's, and you want people to go there and make that a thing again, like. And it doesn't even have a lot of options. Like TGI Fridays has like fucking like Chinese food and Asian fusion to like burgers, but you just do pizza?
Does
Are you out of your fucking mind? Oh, she's awful.
It sounds like
She's
that
lost.
sounds like she's had like a religious sense. Like, you know what, we need to bring back the family meal before the family
She's lost
prayer.
so much money. There's a place in DC called And Pizza. And Pizza is the, what would it be called? It would be like, well, what's the best way to do this? I don't know if it's like everywhere. And Pizza is like, Patrick Schwarzenegger has a competition that's similar in California that's like And Pizza. Basically, they deliver through Postmates. They don't deliver themselves. You don't really need to because of Postmates and like Uber Eats. So their conveyor belt system, like Sweet Green for like making a salad, is so fast. It's artisan pizza, so higher level pizza that is like thinner crust, better for you, less calories, more interesting. Like the shit you'd get if you went to a restaurant and wanted to have a pizza. And it's like quick as fuck. So it's like higher level.
Is this an idea you're
No, this is a
brewing, or
thing.
this
It's
a
an And Pizza. So when I went through my fat phase, and I was doing like, you know, I just insane. I would order a pizza. I was like really depressed for I don't know what was going on. Maybe I was like losing tons of money playing poker. I don't know. I order a pizza in the morning, pizza in the afternoon, pizza in between those I would be ordering Chinese food. And I was just really not, like, I would be like, oh, this is leg day. I can eat 20,000 calories. It was really, really eating my feelings about something. I wasn't really clear. I think it was like in the back of my head. Anyway,
Yeah.
And Pizza, I order it within 10 minutes, and there's not one like 10 minutes close to my house. Like, it was there. It was amazing, and it was excellent. It was just so good. And this bitch wants to bring back, who's also about to marry a gay guy, and she's worth like $50 to $100 million. She doesn't need to, but it's, oh my god, it's the psychological manifestations of mental illness. They do not discriminate, and it does not, like, money doesn't buy happiness. You know how I know? A woman with $50 million that at one point in time was a smoke show that everyone wanted is going to marry a gay guy because she feels lonely and all her friends are getting married. This is, she's like 1 year away from a geriatric pregnancy. That's what they're going to call it, 35. It's that bad, right? It's like, well, because no one would date you because you're controlling, you're bitchy, you're Jewish, all these things. She's awful.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite thing about her was when I when we would have sex, I would just choke her and be like, "This is nice." She says, "Shut up, this is good." And yeah, I think she liked me a lot as a friend because I was one of the people that didn't people with a lot more money than her, but like a lot of people in her life would just say yes, like, yes, you're right. Like her personal trainer. Like, she would tell me about Kelsey, like, oh, you know, like, Kelsey, when she turns 30, is going to, like, look like me. I'm like, no, she's not. Like, it's like, what, she's going to gain 50 pounds? No, that's not going to happen. Yeah. She's going to look like Joan Didion. She's going to be thin Spo forever. Pro Anna forever. That's just the way she rolls. You know why you're saying that? Because your personal trainer is telling you that you're great because that's their job. They want to keep you paying $500 a month. She doesn't have anyone telling her the truth about her. Like,
I see that even on a smaller scale, even on my Little Pony friend that we were just discussing.
What, he has people, yes people around him?
Oh my God. I've like sat in his living room.
Because they're drug addicts?
What the fuck? No, just because like either they're like working for him, or like just such weird dynamics of, but people pleasers.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
he pays
what?
crap though, doesn't he? Doesn't it's the other thing. Imagine being a drug dealer and paying people so poorly that you constantly like have people quitting, but you sell illegal drugs. How is that going to work out? Someone's going to be like, I don't like this guy. I hope he goes, and then they just call the FBI. That's what's going to happen.
The FBI doesn't even really care.
Whatever, DEA. Someone's going to do it.
Oh,
Trust me, they care. If they cared about the kids with the dabs or whatever the fuck it is, dabs, whatever the fuck it is, in Baltimore where people are pushing
sir,
like
you
heroin.
look so daps tonight.
They
You should
care.
start saying that instead of dapper. Let's do daps.
It's definitely a thing. But I will say that like, you know,
So my dog comes in and just starts windmilling with his paws,
That's what
laying
he
down
does.
by Ben's face, just
he's
incessantly wanting your attention.
you gotta start walking your
It's
dog.
like an alpha male.
It's not alpha anything.
from
He
one
just knows,
alpha
thank you
to
for walking
another.
me. Thank you for walking me. Thank you for making me the
Okay,
priority.
we're gonna segue
She like
away from.
she like
this.
well I'm cleaning the house. It's wonderful. Your baby's crying in its crib, but I'm cleaning.
I have a
very
whole giant
strange.
fenced-in yard,
Oh my god.
and I will walk
Gotta
him
use
when
the-
I am not a stay-at-home mother
I don't even want to get into
to
this.
like adult.
During a speech
Yeah,
from
moving
Warsaw,
on.
Poland, Biden stated that Putin cannot. Actually, no, I will walk the fucking dog. Walk him 3 times a day at most, and then 2 at least. Okay, not hard to do it.
All right, moving on.
It's like, oh my god. During a speech from Warsaw, Poland, Biden stated that. By the way, I walk the dog all the time, and I if I had if there were intruders, if the Mexican Sinaloa cartel broke into this house because they like stashed a bunch of heroin or cocaine in the kitchen and they forgot about it and then they needed it, I would still walk the dog. Like, okay, guys, I gotta go walk the dog. That's what it would. That's how I
For
care.
me, messes drive me crazy, and I try to get to that.
Yeah, you'd be
before I
telling
get
the Sinaloa
to
cartel to like
something else.
use like
It's a
better
compulsion.
caulking when they clean it up. You'd be really upset with that. You would even be like, your broken Spanish. You'd be like on your translator, like pues muy sucio, terrible, and then they'd be like, tú era murió ahora, like or whatever, like kill her now. I don't know, like something
Welcome
like
to the
it's just like this, like we
telenovelas,
just bury her in the hole. And no one's gonna like you just shut her up. During a speech from Warsaw, Poland, today, Biden stated that Putin cannot be allowed to remain in power. It appeared to be the first time Biden has explicitly called for Putin's removal and would mark a sharp contrast from prior statements from the White House,
Like
which
a
have
stepdad
emphasized
trying
that
to
regime
ground
change
you.
in Russia is not the policy of the United States. Shortly after Biden's address, the White House denied that Biden was calling for regime change. The president's point was that Putin cannot be allowed to exercise power over the neighbors of the region. He was not discussing Putin's power in Russia or regime change. Well, that's not true. He also said we stand with Ukraine, which is like a Marine's wife kissing his husband before he gets deployed, only to send a sex tape to Afghanistan, like in Jarhead. That's like that. It's like it's just nonsense.
It's like that. See, for me, it
We've
feels
done nothing.
like
And they,
yeah.
also, all the billionaires online on Twitter that are like, you know, hedge fund managers and stuff, they're constantly like Ukraine's winning or like, oh, Putin. It's very like pro-war, like maybe we need to, they talk about the nuclear all this like proselytizing, like let's elongate this, like let's keep the oil prices high. I actually looked at Pershing Square's 13F to see if I could find like most of their like equity holdings are consumer discretionary. There's not a lot of like you can't see the options and the derivatives. It's hard to tell like where they are in terms of their positioning, but it's hard to imagine that, I don't know, like you're not like shifting your portfolio because of this. Like the inflation was already oil before this was like $90 a gallon, right? It was high. Like so $90 a barrel of crude, WTI and Brent. So it was already high. So even if there was a resolution
aren't the sanctions about not buying like Russian oil? Isn't that going to stay in place for a little while? Like it's going to be difficult, and tough.
Sorry. Thought he was coming right for the laptop from my angle. He just looked like it.
And he said, "Don't even
with
think
the
about
button.
moving 1 inch into NATO territory. We have a sacred obligation on Article 5 to defend each and every inch of NATO territory with the full force of our collective power." And I'm like, there is like, he's not going into Poland. There's no oil in Poland. There's no Nazis to kill in Poland, at least as far as I know. It's just a bunch of Jews. So like, I don't know. Like, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. It's just. Don't Americans know how nonsensical this is? Like, let's keep pushing this towards midterms. Let's elongate Putin, because like Putin will be great to talk about when Trump finally announces that he's running, and then they can say, "Oh, look, what?"
I mean, I think.
Sit up so you don't fall asleep. I don't want you to fall asleep in the store and start snoring.
I know. I've hung around some real deal next level pot smokers, and I'm just feeling very loungy.
Did you get high by association?
I probably did. Probably a little secondhand going on. No. So I think that Biden. I mean, he's finally becoming a little bit more stern, and but everything that he does
He's
is
finally
just
becoming
so
a
much
little
like
more stern. What do you mean?
Well, like
he doesn't do
you know.
anything. Like
I know it's like a
he's just like
stepdad
repeating
threatening,
what a bunch of
like,
kids
you're gonna really be grounded, and you're gonna have to call me dad. And it's like everybody else is like, no, I don't. Everyone else is.
He has kids from that
children.
deferred going to Harvard Business School that are on his staff and stuff like that are just doing everything. He doesn't. This is all nonsense. This is all political strategy. Like, look at what we did to stop. When Trump, for the Democrats to align themselves with an anti-Trump rhetoric by establishing their pro-Ukraine, as if the opposite is like Republicans are with Putin. They actually have been talking a lot of stuff about how good Putin is, and it's this perfect thing. Like, oh, Putin's a genius. So Trump's first statement about the war was that Putin's brilliant. And I'm like, it's setting up to be this massive, like, Russia versus, Russia and Trump versus everyone else. That's what's happening. And it's perfect for the midterms. And it makes DeSantis has stayed largely out of it. It's just so political. Like, this is not, he's not moving into Poland. This is it. This is over. He's going to take over the Ukraine. He's going to install a puppet regime that's pro Russia. And that's it. And nothing else. And that's over.
I don't think that's guaranteed that he'll stop there. I don't know. He could continue.
No, he can't. Article 5 of that would be a war on NATO neighbors. Article 5. He can't do that. We have to go in and get into it.
Who's going to say that he can at this point?
Why? Okay, so why did he go into Ukraine? To take over the rest of Europe? No, because the oil and the gas. 2 trillion or 3 trillion metric tons of compressed natural gas in the Black Sea. Huge shell deposits in the Donbass region, which just happens to be the area where the Nazis are oppressing Russians, pro-Russian separatists. And then the section to the east, or the west, excuse me, that's also huge shell deposits by Mariupol or whatever the fuck it's called, which also happens to have a lot of neo-Nazis. It's just, I wonder if Putin established the neo-Nazis in Ukraine so he could have a justified reason to go in. There's only like 1,000 of the neo-Nazis. It's a group of 1,000 guys that are Nazis. That's it. So it easily could be like a whole like manipulative bullshit thing. Not that Putin would even need to have propaganda to talk to the press about, oh, it's important for Russia's unity and to protect its citizens in other countries that are oppressed from fascist regimes or Nazis. He doesn't need to do that. But it does kind of play this double entendre role of empathy from Western societies that have been talking about how there's this great influx of right-wing fascism that must be stopped, and how can you blame Putin if this is real? Like, it kind of like it suggests that you get kind of world empathy from that. Like, of course, the fascism today is not right wing, it's left wing. But go ahead, what were you saying?
Well, I mean, that's about it. I just think that I think that the big fear is that I do agree with is that if he succeeds here, then what's to stop him eventually? Maybe not right away, but being like, oh, this other thing will bring me great resources and power. And so what's to stop him from continuing because he succeeded in this one venture to him? So
I don't understand what do you, so he's just invading a country with no NATO association that cannot be protected.
Every time.
Right?
Are we still going?
Yeah, he didn't hit anything.
Okay, sorry, my dog.
No, we don't. No,
mission.
keep going. Stay on topic.
Okay, well, repeat yourself really quick. What was your
So, Ukraine is not defended by NATO because it's not part of NATO. It's not part of the European Union.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's no defense. No one's come to Ukraine's defense, right? Why? So do you think that that'll happen in Poland, which is part of NATO, which under Rule 5, Article 5 of the NATO Security Council, every country in NATO that's attacked is protected and defended by all the other NATO allies.
I mean, I do think that it is a big test of that because I think.
What do you think his goal is?
Because there are countries who do disagree with it right now, even though they're
with
not.
What?
With the invasion of Ukraine, there are.
No, what is his goal?
It's to fucking conquer. I mean,
conquer
really.
What?
First Ukraine, and then who knows what else?
Why?
Whatever brings him more power. To gain power. I mean, it's pretty.
There's no power.
That's what
in Poland.
I believe.
There's no power in Poland.
I think he can go elsewhere. I think this
Where
is just the beginning.
Go?
That's what I believe.
So just let's play this out, okay? Poland has nothing, okay?
Yeah.
If anything, they buy Russian oil.
Mm-hmm.
Germany, same thing, right near Russia and Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
Largest EU purchaser of Russian oil. Why fuck with them?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, what is the power that you speak of? Land?
I
With
mean,
no
it
oil?
could be other thing. I mean, it's not all about
He's going to be a landlord and like
that's not,
have
like, the
everyone in
massive
Poland pay him
resource.
rent. Like, was that what he gives a shit
No.
about?
No, I think it's a statement at first to be like, oh, if I can do this, and you're right, the resources, but I do think it's a test to see who will come to the aid or who will, and I do believe that wholeheartedly. I think what's to stop him from continuing if he gets away with this?
That's a fair,
in my mind.
It's a fair question for the like.
It's like an analogy. It's like an analogy of like somebody. Let's say that you discipline your child by you don't discipline your kid for staying out past curfew. You let them stay out.
Happy
past
69th episode, everyone. By the way, happy 69.
So you let your kid stay out past curfew. So what is he going to come back in at 10 o'clock, or is he going to keep trying to extend his time because you let him do it that once?
He's not a kid trying to get head at like 10 o'clock as a junior in high school. He's a guy that like, I mean, what I don't understand is why do you think that he is trying to conquer Europe? And what do you think he'll get out of it?
I think he will get power and possibly build allies in doing so. I don't think it's maybe going to be such a quick thing.
Do you notice how slow he's been going through Ukraine? Like that they haven't used much of their air force. They've been like half-mast fighting. Why isn't he, if he's preparing a larger move? Why isn't he going straight through Ukraine? And why hasn't Putin talked about invading the other countries? And also, why would he risk?
Because I don't think you're going to show all your cards, right? Like, I don't think it's as like, I think it's
Do you not
probably more
find it
tactful
interesting
than
that he invaded Crimea in 2014, the same year they found the 3 trillion and cubic metric tons of natural gas in the Black Sea that he now controls?
I'm not disagreeing with you on that end. I think, he does look at resources.
So if everyone in the European Union basically buys Russian oil, what is he invading Germany for and Poland if only to face the wrath of France, Spain, England, the United States in a massive world war that will lead to all his customers not buying anything from him, a petrostate, which in terms of propinquity, in terms of geographical location, Russia's isolated. He's going to be left with what? Is China going to get involved
That's
and come
why
to
I'm
their
saying
aid?
I think
what do you think like, the
I
goal
think
is?
to test and see who will be allies with him and I think it will be more of a slow going thing. Like very slow.
So he's
But
going
I
to invade
do
Poland to
believe that
test
it's
whether they're going to be nice? Like, will you be my friend? Like,
I mean, to create
shoot you.
allies.
What friend puts a gun to your head and says, will you be my friend?
I think he's going to see what other countries do, particularly countries who are a part of NATO.
So what would they do when?
During this whole thing.
They're
why
not
do you
doing
keep trying to
anything.
put
They're not
when?
doing anything because Ukraine's not part of
And
NATO.
who? And why?
Because they're not because they're not part of NATO. So I'm just wondering what do you mean? No one's helping Ukraine because they're not.
This is what I believe, and we're not going to dig further because there's nothing to dig further about. That's what I believe. That's what I believe will happen.
I'm just trying to understand
eventually
logic.
A slow burn. This is just like a like it is pretty lofty because in my mind it's a long-term thing. So it's not very like, I don't know. I can see that happening. Is that a fair thing to say? I could see it happening.
No, it's healthy. It's healthy. What I don't understand is why? You haven't explained why. Like I want to know if you're Putin, why do you said because he wants to test who will be his ally. What does that mean? It doesn't mean, it's just such a random, I don't understand what it means.
What do you mean?
What's the reason for invading Poland?
What do you think that could mean? Me saying
I
that
actually
to test
don't
who
know.
would
That's why
become
I'm
his
asking
ally.
you because Poland has no.
So
there's
if
no
he
reason
continues to do these, like, oh, I'm going to go through Ukraine because they're not a part of NATO and did it, that's like, if he continues to make moves like that, where he's like, well,
why did he go into Ukraine?
We already talked about it.
He could have gone into Germany first.
Well, it's like you said, resources, whatever. Oil, cracked. We just went through that. Why are you giving?
But all the European Union buys his oil, not just Germany. They're the biggest buyer. So I don't understand, why would he fuck with any of them?
I'm not saying he's fucking with them. I'm saying he's seeing who does what now. It's a bit. I'm sure he's gauging.
I don't know what
who's
you
going to
mean,
let him get
who
away
does
with
what?
it. Pretty much. Why is that so perplexing? Who's going to let him get away with it? Who's going to say something? Who's going? Is that not a fair thing to judge? I mean, why are there even news articles out saying Biden said Putin needs to why would they have headlines like that then? The whole world is judging it.
Because they're selling
same way.
newspapers. They're like, oh, he might use nuclear weapons. What?
So I'm not allowed to formulate an opinion that would
No, you are, but you're not really doing a good job of substantiating why. You're making him sound like it's Hitler and his ethnic cleansing, except Polish Jews have nothing to do with his original terminology, was that there were Nazis in Ukraine, and that's why he was invading Ukraine. That's what Putin has said. So then he's going to go the other way, the complete opposite way. Instead of killing Nazis, he's going to start killing Jews? This is like confusing.
I really think that it's not that far-fetched to feel that way.
Is he bipolar?
Yeah, I would definitely put him a little bit on par with like Hitler, what everybody's saying. That's where I stand on it. we'll come back when I haven't hung out and had secondhand smoke to
He's-
dig deeper because I can't do it right now. I can barely even sit up.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Jeannie Thomas. Chief Justice Clarence Thomas' wife was at the January 6th riot. She texted then Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, said, "Do not concede about the 2020 election regarding overturning everything."
Mhm.
The world is up in arms about this. Chelsea Handler offered 50 Cent if he voted for Biden a blowjob or sex. No one gave a shit. So this woman's just talking. She's Colin Powell's wife's a bit crazy. She's a bit nuts. So I was just like, people are
Colin
telling
Powell's
that
wife
like Clarence
is?
Thomas, Chief Justice Roberts should ask Clarence Thomas for his resignation because of his wife's actions. I'm thinking this story is not juicy enough. Like, what if Jeannie Thomas offered oral sex to the Postmaster General in exchange for some Biden votes being thrown in the trash? That would be a
Oh my
story.
God.
But right now, it hasn't come out yet, and it's just not that juicy. It's not
Yeah.
that juicy.
It's if I had to
Do
read
you
one
think
more
your wife,
headline,
if you're powerful, should your wife not be able to like do anything she wants? She has to just do whatever you be like impartial.
yeah,
Because it's not you. That's not the way we want things to be. We want some spice.
yeah,
Like, what's her name? Like the Trump's former chief of staff, Kellyanne Conway. Yeah, her husband hates Trump. Like, that's sexy. That's fun. Their sex life must be awesome, right?
It's
Like,
just-
and that's true. It's just like oh my God, it's gonna be good. Very.
yeah. I mean,
What?
I don't. You trailed me off, and I'm.
No, the
losing
point
my
I'm making is
focus
this is like, shouldn't you be able to, if you're a powerful person, enjoy your marriage without the risk of like having to put a muzzle on your significant other because they might do something that will like undermine. Like, going to the January 6th riot is not the same thing as invading the Capitol. There are a ton of people protesting that didn't go into the Capitol that were just like there because they were witnessing it, and they were at Trump's save the. I want to say like I almost want to say it's called like step up to the streets, like that movie with like
cheerleader.
no like the breakdancing movie with
Oh, I
what's his
remember
name from
breakdancing.
Magic Mike. Like, I feel like that's what it was called, Save America or Save the Vote or Stop the Steal rally, I think was what it was called. People were at that didn't go into the Capitol. She was part of that. She wasn't like killing, like, I don't know, like trying to steal Nancy Pelosi's laptop.
Yeah, but you probably should have better sense than that. Like, come on, it's completely. To me, that's a little bit ridiculous.
What are you upset with Jeannie Thomas about?
I mean,
Clarence
the lack
Thomas's
of
wife.
sense. Like,
What?
I think that's just a lack of sense. Like,
What
you
is?
don't go to something that could potentially, with a group of mixed people who, some of them, were just very calm supporters, but most of that group, I'm going to say
Trump supporter.
majority.
She went to the save the
Yeah.
Stop the Steal rally, and then that was just a block away from the Capitol, and then the riot came out. So anyone that was at that rally that stayed was technically part of the riot. But she wasn't a rioter.
Okay, so maybe it got blown up a little bit.
Maybe what I'm saying is, should she be apolitical because her husband's a judge? She should not be. I don't think people should be muzzled.
Right.
Like, I think you should be able to date BPD Art Hose as like a powerful politician if that's what you're into. As long as you're not like Elliot Spitzer and like paying for sex, you can like your girlfriend can be a former stripper, and like you can like she has the best blowjobs in the entire world, and like you can like enjoy that, and you can enjoy her random comments and like her like risky. She wears the most like naughty like Hervé Leger dresses to like
If I
fucking
hear that
like
word.
fucking like at a White House Correspondents' Dinner, she just looks like a
Hervé
top
Leger.
tier piece of ass, and you have to dress more conservatively because of your position. But she gets to be her. I don't want to put a muzzle on my wife. I want her to be like,
If you did, I'd hope you call it an Hervé Leger muzzle.
I would definitely get an
Brand
Hervé
it.
Leger. Keep it classy. Keep it Eurotrash. Yeah,
God.
those dresses are very. You gotta have the figure for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it's just one of those really blown out of proportion, things. I think.
Should you answer my question? Should you, as a powerful person, be forced to, or feel obligated to censor your significant other, male or woman?
I don't think censoring. I think they would be allowed, but I definitely think there's got to be like common sense and not censorship. Like maybe don't go to like maybe research your rallies before you go out to them. Like
What do you mean?
I don't know.
It's
just
a presidential rally.
well, she's got to be a little bit more like maybe get alerts on your phone. Maybe is there anything out there like that?
It's a
I mean, as a
rally.
powerful person, is there anything where it could be like, oh, alert, update? You should probably get out of your fucking rally because there's an insurrection next
done on
door.
9/11? Should they had alerts on their phones? They probably didn't have smartphones back then.
Let's put it like this.
Those fucking investment bankers, so idiots. Shouldn't they have? They should just know. Get an office on a lower floor.
Let's say it like this. Maybe it's one of those things where like she's at a party in college, and there are people upstairs doing like Molly, heroin, whatever, and she knows that they're up there.
She doesn't.
But she just is drinking downstairs,
and
then the party gets busted.
I don't think the January 6th riot was a big deal. Second of all, I don't think anything that happened before it someone should be penalized for. So you're penalizing her for that. Let's say it was horrible.
I think they're fucking idiots, and I do agree that it was a pretty bad thing that happened.
But she wasn't part of it. She was
but she should have somebody. How do you not get like an alert, a text, somebody being like keeping you up to date if you're that powerful? Like, oh shit, this is going on.
To run away?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's just smart. Like, that's just not.
She didn't go into the Capitol. She didn't break any rules.
Okay, so she didn't break any rules, but it's just isn't that common sense? Like, you don't know what's gonna happen too.
So don't go to rallies?
No, not don't go to rallies. But if you know that something's going on that could possibly turn sideways.
There's protesters. You're telling me that if you were at that rally and you saw people going to the Capitol, you wouldn't stay around and be like, wow, this is amazing. I'm witnessing history. You'd run away.
As a normal person, if you were tied to anybody powerful.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
You're saying that your significant other in general should show deference to you and have not watched a historic event happen. That's tough to do.
That's not to me, that's an idiotic thing to tie that to some, like, it's not a good piece of history to be involved.
What do you mean?
That's how I feel.
You think
that's
it's a terrorist
exactly
attack?
what I mean.
What are we talking about? Like,
I'm saying the likelihood that something could turn very sideways. Do you think people that drive by accidents
should be like, oh, this is wrong, or do they rubberneck? Everyone rubbernecks. Everyone does. It's like, oh, it's a bicycle accident. Someone scraped their knee. No one watches it. Oh, look, a baby is impaled into someone's chest, like in Total Recall, and it happened for real. Now it looks like the alien face in the Total Recall movie because the baby went through the guy's chest.
There are moments in history, but I don't think that
people love crazy. It's fun to witness, and that's history.
I mean,
if you really believe that the election was stolen, that there's a rally from the president that's leaving office. That's called Stop the Steal, and you go there, and then you witness people going to the Capitol and like all this craziness. You're just gonna be like, oh, you know what? I shouldn't watch this. This is bad. This is like watching Leprechaun through 2 o'clock in the morning after watching Outer Limits, and I know that I'm gonna have to go downstairs and get bacon for my mom's.
It's like for her.
I'm gonna get freaked out.
No, it has nothing to do with that. I think that you should have a certain sort of care and couth sort of, and I think it's very I'm sure that somebody like her has better things to watch. And
the point I'm making is that the Stop the Steal rally, you're condemning her for the actions of other people, not her. That's what's this weird. That's all. Like you're condemning her for the actions of other people.
I just think that she maybe needs to be more aware. Maybe she needs some alerts, something going on. She needs to be more in the know.
So if the Capitol was lit on fire, she's supposed to walk away.
What else would she do?
Watch the Capitol being burned down because it's a historic moment. It's happened once before.
I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying,
Because
but
she went to
also
she went to like an ice skate rink party, like Disney on Ice, and then all of a sudden she witnessed like Al Qaeda take over and like instead of killing people to skate out in like pink LGBTQ stuff like Muslims can be queer and you know we were into it and it's all like pro Al Qaeda LGBTQ and they take over the Disney thing and she's not supposed to be like, you know what, this is not good because I am on the Saudi Arabian Council for Foreign Studies and they throw gays off rooftops and they would not approve of this.
yeah,
Is that
I
what
mean,
you're saying?
I'm sort
Because
of
I
saying
think you're
it's a
crazy. I would
company you
watch that
keep
shit,
guilty
like-
by association, and also you should have more of a neutrality and responsibility in that.
Did you say guilty by
Neutrality.
association? Did you say that?
I said, oh my god, you're just so ready to pounce at me, and I have no energy
No,
for
I
it
can tell you're low.
whatsoever.
You're very Kelsey on this one. What did you say?
I said,
Guilt by association. What did you say? Sorry.
okay, so I said
Don't worry, we have
guilty
a lot
by
of.
association.
We've only done 15 minutes. Isn't that weird?
That's
I'm
there's
just
no
kidding. I'm
way.
just kidding.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
god.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
No, I just think that God, if you would have listened, I wouldn't have had to
No.
backpedal on my entire
Did you say
thing.
she's guilty
Yeah.
by association?
No, I said there are. You need to have a certain sort of neutral stance when you're in, and you should have that. Not you need to. You should. In my mind, that's what I believe is right and fair. It's like being a journalist or something. You're in a position where you have to take everybody, like you
I think
have to
this
look
is
at both
sexist.
sides.
What if I'm a
No.
lawyer and you work?
No.
I'm a lawyer and
Yeah.
you're a lawyer, but you're the lawyer to the president. And so I'm a lawyer too, and I have my own opinions, but I'm not. You're more powerful than me. But
Yeah.
we're both individuals that have thoughts and feelings. And I say
Right.
something in public about opposite political views, and it's against the president that you work for, i.e., Kellyanne Conway and her husband. You're
Mhm.
saying that that's wrong because I should show deference because you just happen to work for Trump.
No, I'm not saying that. If she were to blast Twitter with all this shit, whatever. Okay, that's your right. But if you're out somewhere and some shit's going on that's crazy and you can't take like an Uber or your personal limo back, like unless she could not escape that area, she should have had an exit plan. That's so stupid to me, and it just is. That somewhere
I
like
just
that
don't.
she
You're
would
just basically
leave.
saying she's guilty of invading the Capitol when she wasn't doing that. I think it's strange.
I'm not saying she's guilty. I'm saying the fact that she wouldn't leave. Like
I don't know if she probably did leave at some point. Obviously, she's not still there. Like she's
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
She didn't invade the Capitol and like take pictures with like Nancy Pelosi's scarves. And she didn't do anything like that. So I learned on Joe Rogan
I
this
feel
week.
like I don't really like the woman based off of that. I don't think it's that intelligent of a move. And that's how
What to do?
feel.
To do what?
I don't know. I think it's just the fact that like I feel like she was maybe so out of the loop or maybe in the loop and just
In the
didn't
loop of
want
what?
to.
It was a spur of the moment thing that happened.
Yeah,
Now,
but
now it mi-
nobody texts her and then she doesn't like leave. Like
leave what? Some
leave
people,
the
half
area,
the
like
people were
anywhere
there
else.
didn't think it was illegal. They didn't know what they were doing was illegal. They didn't know it was a felony. They didn't know any of it. That cops
Yeah,
were letting
well.
people into the Capitol. It's very clear that if she was just witnessing it, that she just felt this is strange, interesting. What's going on? Look at them ride. Look at them climb the walls.
Right. Oh, did you say riding? Because right then she should have been like,
It
maybe I
wasn't really
shouldn't
a riot.
be
It was-
here.
If you watch it, it's just like there's no opposition.
I'm not in Kansas anymore. I don't want to talk about it. I'm losing my whole.
I learned on
everything.
Joe Rogan this week that Kim Jong Un's father,
Mhm.
the supreme leader. I think he's still I think he might still be the god of Korea, even though he's dead. Like it's like a necrocracy. He shot a 38 in golf, like his first time playing, and when he was born, all the birds in North Korea sang in Korean, and also he apparently invented the burrito in 2011. This is all in the official text in Korea. I watched this on the Joe Rogan thing, and I was like, I've heard some crazy things, and I know it's a necrocracy because I'm a big Christopher Hitchens fan about North Korea and how like Kim Jong Il's father, Kim Jong Un's grandfather, is still might be the supreme ruler, and it's like even though he's been dead for like 75 years, and like apparently you can't, unlike you can't escape it. Like when you die in North Korea, you're still under the I don't know. Or maybe Chris Richards was referencing how in Catholicism you can't escape God because you can't escape all the. It's like you're punished in all eternity, and at least in North Korea when you die, you die. I don't remember. I can't quite remember the point, but I thought that was really interesting. We're getting close to the end of the show. Biden wants to tax 20% minimum tax on billionaires with a net worth or with households with a net worth over 100 million. 20%, and I didn't understand what that meant. 20% of income, 20% of their holdings. Is this referencing the unrealized capital gains tax where if you have stock that is appreciated but you didn't sell it, that they can tax you, which is a big problem because it forces you possibly to sell when you don't want to. Stuff like that. This sounds like another fake law that's designed to appease people in the general rhetoric of hating rich people, which is very popular amongst leftist voters. I think it's a complete ruse to make millionaires look bad. Like that art dealer, you mentioned that story that we should talk about on the show about Hirsch. What's his name?
Yeah, Hirsch.
What's his name? It's called. He's like this.
Hearst. I think it's Hirsch.
Hearst. It's what Damien, right? Damien.
Not at all. It's definitely not
Damien Hirst. That's
Is it?
Damien Hirst, the artist. Yeah, he used like what PPP or some COVID funds or something.
COVID relief. Yeah, it was some sort of relief that they were.
So this is another one of those dumb things. It's like rich people have the same problems as like a person that has a $500,000 a year business or $100,000 a year business. They take loans out against their art to finance things, right?
Yeah.
They have debt, and so he probably needed to borrow the money for something, even though he's a millionaire. And no one was going to his galleries, no one was buying art, no one was touching each other, and maybe he had a lot of like interest payments and he needed help with those. It's possible. It's not like poor rich people problems. Fine, but it's still a problem that someone with $75,000 a year would have. My credit card payments I can't make.
I think the ability to save though is probably a little bit different. Like if he's got nothing for an emergency in his boxes in his basement. I mean, if he has nothing stashed away.
He didn't do anything illegal. This is public sentiment. It's a millionaire that got funds. That's it. That's all that it is.
Yeah, but I mean,
you would do it too.
To compare it to somebody who makes like under six figures versus
Sarah,
somebody
what
who
I'm
has
saying is
millions
if you
or
made
this-
$75,000 a year and you had a lot of credit card debt and you could not afford those credit cards payments, and then those were secured by
Is
your
that
house.
what happened with him?
It could have been. We don't know. What
Okay,
I'm
so
saying
maybe
is,
we need more information for the next
but like,
show.
why does he have to make himself look like a hardship case to prove that he's a good person when
He doesn't. I
anyone
think
would
that
do it?
anybody would be like, I think if he were to have a case where he's like, listen,
I don't like to
this is
penalize rich
going
people.
on.
They're amazing. We should celebrate them. They should be like gods.
where it's like, this is what's going on. My art is da-da-da.
We should give them more kids. They deserve it.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
I think if anybody has like a case to say like, hey, my art is here and this is how it works and I'm not bringing any, then yeah, a little bit. But I also think
he told the IRS and the Treasury when he filled the forms out. That's what he told. He doesn't have to tell the public.
Well, now he kind of owes an explanation, and if there was nothing wrong in what he did,
he doesn't owe an
maybe
explanation.
he should.
It's just a story written by people that know that people love stories about black people being shot by the police.
We're not even sure
they love about
the specifications
he's not
of
charged
the story.
with a crime. It's a paper about how he did it, that he followed the law. It's the story's designed so that I click on it, like, oh, rich people get away with everything. That's the story.
Well, let's look at a couple more stories then. But I think
he wasn't charged with a crime.
he's got nothing else in his coffers for an emergency.
An emergency?
Yeah, like a COVID, whatever.
You're
You
telling
compared
someone
it
what
to a
to do with
business
it.
before.
You're
Now
telling
I
someone how they
can't.
have to spend their money because they're rich, that they should not be smart. You're saying they should be like everyone else when they're rich. But the whole purpose is
Doesn't
that
that
they're
allude to
smarter
that
than
you-
everyone else. That's why they're rich.
Okay, so you should, in being so much smarter and wiser, maybe responsibility goes with that, right? There's an inherent responsibility.
To what? To who?
I don't know. This is my theme then in this podcast. So there's
responsibil-
a responsibility.
To whom? To not look like an asshole, a rich prick?
Yeah, and not
What?
have to borrow money. Like
That's what rich people do. They borrow money. Elon Musk borrows money against his equity in Tesla. He borrows it for like under 1% a year. Like he can borrow incredible amounts of money for like no interest rate. That's what rich people do. That's why the art world exists in the first place. Rich people buy art and then borrow against it like an asset.
Yeah, I mean,
And the interest is tax-free, tax deductible.
Yeah.
It's debt instead of like selling the art when they need money. It's a great way of fucking with the IRS. The art world runs through death, debt, and divorce. Those are the reasons the art world moves, and those are all very negative things. But the debt part of that is that it's an instrument for tax allocation.
Yeah.
It's designed for rich people to launder money. So it's just the way the system works. And guess what happens?
You know who might have a really interesting take on this, or maybe an inside scoop, is your friend's fiance. You should bring this up to her. And
No,
see
I don't.
what she-
I don't. I won't need to, because I know that this is. She's, first of all, she's wealthy. She's a successful artist, and
Okay.
Daniel, her fiance, is a very successful artist, or a person, artist, not an artist, writer, I suppose, but not in the sense of prose and like
Yeah.
But yes, they will understand, and they're buying a house and they're taking out debt to do it. That they will get, oh, guess what happens when all of your art is not being witnessed and purchased
think-
at art fairs because it's COVID.
You
And
know,
you owe all this money to the bank that you borrowed, and you have interest payments due, and they weren't suspended. What are you going to do? Borrow more money from the Fed at a low rate because they're offering it. Because I have a business, and it's my art. And I'm rich, but I'm now in run the risk of losing a beach house because I can't afford my interest payments because I don't have enough cash
yeah,
coming
fuck
in.
you, beach house. Then I side with the probably majority on this one.
Yeah, fail. You're saying fail because I don't have a beach house because I wasn't smart enough to get a beach
Get down
house.
here with us
That's
for a
just
little bit.
dumb.
Swim
It's
in
just-
the fucking
You
murky.
know what the biggest problem is, I think, between like and this last thing I'll mention. We can end the show. I know it's been a long show. It's late, and sorry about the 69th episode not being that fruitful. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Sarah just tired from doing nothing,
know.
and she ruined the show.
Low
I apologize.
T.
No, I'm kidding. This is the problem.
Tea-hang.
In the real world, they don't teach anyone about money. They frame money in media as if rich people are bad and poor people are noble, like heroes. You know, like like struggling and working hard 9 to 5, like basically being a slave, wage slave is a good thing, but being rich is evil. It's a very strange dichotomy. But if you were to learn about money, and if everyone was forced to go to business school, articles like the one you read would not be written because no one would click on them. They'd understand money. This is a person that at any economy of scale had debt, likely way above what he was bringing in, and he might have savings, just as you might have savings of $10,000 from your $50,000 a year job or whatever. And now you can pay your credit card bills, which are $200 a month, from your savings versus a loan from the government for COVID, and it's your choice. What do? You take the loan from the government at an interest rate that will never exist for the rest of your existence on this planet. It was like,
So-
what, 1.75%? It's amazing.
So what I'm saying is you don't believe that he should even be exploited then.
I think you're basically saying he's black, and that's why he should have his own water fountain. I think it seems almost racist to say because he's rich
I
that
think
he
it's
should be penalized. That's racist.
because I think it's a totally tacky, disgusting thing that he did. I think there are people out there who need money, like even aside from COVID, who just like need relief. And here he is making millions, and he's gonna take it. Like that's a big Texas. Come and take it. Fuck that.
Can I say,
Fuck
what about my
him.
friend who made $1 million a year from his company? Without COVID, he would have gone bankrupt. He was a millionaire. He had $1 million in cash that went to zero. He borrowed money from the government because they used all of it to maintain his business locations. He's lost all his cash from COVID because he had to shut down his businesses. He has overhead, right, rents and all, and but no one was coming in. And then he borrowed the money from the government. Should he have been allowed to do that?
I really think that you take an inherent risk.
Should the government be allowed to
have
this? The government be allowed to shut down your business because of COVID?
I think if you make a certain amount of money, you shouldn't be dipping your hand into fucking.
What if you
things
spend all of it?
A majority of.
What if you
people
spend
need.
all of it?
Then fuck you.
What about you if you spend all your money?
It has nothing to do.
What's the
with
difference?
Him being like you're citing very much so because like I'm trying to vilify him because he's rich.
That's the reason the story was written.
I think that there's a responsibility. He should have been a little bit more responsible. I do understand what you're trying to
like
like
millennials,
teach and pass
90%
on
of
here.
millennials don't have a savings over $5,000. Shouldn't they be more responsible? Stop buying a bunch of
Yeah, but I think if you have that money and
Twitch
if you're
streaming
lucky enough
shit,
to be
whatever
such
the
a
fuck they
great
do.
artist, and I mean, his life sounds very fortunate right now.
But what if his
It's-
circumstances at his economy of scale are not good and he could have been wiped out? He shouldn't because he.
Why wasn't every really successful artist doing that then? Why weren't they taking the relief?
Some
He
people,
did something
some
that
people
he
didn't need
knew-
it. Some people did not need it. Some people did. Some people didn't apply for it correctly.
So multi-millionaire. So for me, it just reeks of bullshit. And he was trying to get away with it, and he didn't get away with
he
it.
did
and
get
now-
away with it. He got away with
Not
it.
now. Why?
What do you mean? See, there's no law. He didn't break any law. It's just a story. It's your opinion of him, which he doesn't care about, that you're talking about. He got away with it. He got away with it because he doesn't care about your opinion.
How do you know that he doesn't care about anybody's opinion?
Because it doesn't
now?
matter.
I need to follow.
They're still
up on
gonna
this.
buy
I'm
his
gonna
art.
follow this
They're
guy.
still gonna buy his art. I follow him on Instagram before the story. I mean, everyone knows who he is. I just don't necessarily obsess about it. But this is a problem in this country. If you knew the value of money the way that he knows the value of money, or someone who went to business school, and you would say, despite him being a millionaire, if he is up to his ears in debt, and he could lose all of it, wouldn't he do everything that he could within the law, and even more, which he didn't? He followed the law.
Aren't there other avenues that he could have taken than a relief package,
no, he
something that could have very well
could
been
have
made public someday?
He could have gotten loans at higher interest rates.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's stupid.
So
to
why
me
would
is
you do
why
that?
Why wouldn't he choose another lane?
A different
Do
loan at a
do
higher
different
interest rate?
avenue, because yeah.
Why?
Something.
Why?
Huh?
So hard money loans were available. The spreads and interest rates were really crazy. So the Fed's rate, the 10-year Treasury bond was 0.83%, less than a point, and hard money loans were 10 to 20%. Hard money is private people giving you basically private money giving you loans.
Yeah.
Why would
I'm
he
a
take
musician, so Ben has to explain to really break it
your
down.
credit card the other day you're talking about 20% APR?
Yeah.
That. Why would he take a loan out at 20% APR if he can get it for 1.75?
Because it's the right thing to do, and that's where I stand on it. It was incredibly
the right thing to do.
I think that's the right thing to do because, okay, a lot of times relief packages and that, how much did they have for a certain amount of people? How much relief did they offer? And if he took so much of it out, did that mean that it affected other people? What's your answer? Is it yes? It probably did affect it. Okay, so then it's wrong for me. That was just
Who
was
gets
not
the
right.
loans then?
like struggling businesses and everything. I think he could have chose a different route and been just fine when COVID was done.
Should the government in the
And
first
he would have
place
still
have
been
shut
fine.
down businesses? Just out of curiosity.
I do not think this man is whole.
No, should the government have shut down businesses during COVID? Different question.
I mean, at first they didn't really know what it was, so I can't blame them for making like rash decisions
Now,
because
looking
nobody
back,
really
should they have done it?
knew. At first?
No, altogether, looking back at all.
At all? At first, I would have said yes because I think everybody was a little bit freaked out. Nobody knew what the fuck was coming.
Why don't you just tell people not to go to businesses?
Well, they tried that next, right? Then it was like...
No, people just went. They advised people to stay home, and they knew they couldn't because they would just want to do their thing. So they knew the only way to stop people from leaving their house was to stop a place, to basically make it so there's nowhere to go.
Right.
Which is fucked up because it basically says you're an idiot and we know better than you. So we're going to make sure that you can't go to putt-putt golf, which is your favorite thing. We're going to shut them down. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of disgusting in my opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't...
It implies that, people are sheep and that your life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all of that's, David Hume's rights of man were all suspended.
Yeah.
And what makes this country great was all suspended in the name of fear and unknowing. With a disease that has a death rate, like 0.008%, like.
But they didn't know that then. They had no idea when it first happened. But I digress. This is a really fun one compared to the
it was
last
fun one.
one.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm angry at some of the things you've said. I think they're very annoying. I don't like people that make fun of rich people. It pisses me off.
Yeah, I can tell you just...
It's like, kind of like want you to like, I don't know.
It's just...
You should be a caddy at my country club and learn how nice rich people are. They'll
I'm
tip.
not.
I'm just kidding. No, but like
fucking
I think this like
there's
this,
a responsibility
there
with
is
power.
This weird thing in this country about hating rich people that is encouraged by rich people. That the papers, the media, rich people encouraging, hate white rich people particularly, and the people in power are controlling the narrative and pushing it because they want to. I really believe. Take a whole class of people, discourage them from being rich, make them dependent on the government for subsidies, keep them doped up on Instagram, heroin, and everything else that's instant
like a
gratification.
Clockwork Orange. What is it?
Yeah,
the
I
milk?
mean, sort of Ray Bradbury, keep them inundated with all this information that's overwhelming. More Ray Bradbury's 451 than George Orwell's 1984. And part of that is being rich is awful and evil. And spend your money. Don't save. Spend your money. Don't invest. Hey, buy these new shoes. It's so it's so designed to fuck people over and destroy them, and keep them from being rich. And let me tell you, from someone who's had money and not had money, and that's it, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 69, big deal. Stay fabulous. I'm very, very sleepy. We've done about an hour 30. I am going to.
Did you get third hand?
I'm going to. I have a flight at 5 o'clock in the morning or something, so I'm going to go to bed. Stay fabulous. Ben out. Peace.